Welcome to PTI BetterGradesFast.com multimedia tutorials. This language arts session will be on commonly made errors. There are many errors that students make on a regular basis that can be avoided. These errors in grammar or in language tend to affect your mark negatively. Although you may write well, if you make these errors, you often get a lower mark than you truly deserve. One of the errors that is very common is using double negatives. In English, you cannot have two negative pronouns in one sentence. Let me show you some examples. This sentence is a common error. I did not see nobody. I did not see nobody is incorrect because you have two negative pronouns. You have the word not and you have the word nobody. Therefore, you cannot write this sentence and expect it to be correct because the rule for negative words is that you can only have one negative pronoun per sentence. The correct version of this can be done in two ways. Let me show you both ways. The first one is, I saw nobody. Nobody is your negative word. You only have one negative word in this sentence, so this is correct. Another correct option is using the other negative word that was given, not. In this case, you say, I did not see anybody. As you realize, we have changed one negative word and made it positive. So we no longer have two negatives in one sentence. We now have one. Either of these sentences will be a correct option for the first incorrect one. Remember, the error here is the double negative. Try to avoid this in writing any sentence that you have to make negative. Another common error is mixing words that shouldn't be mixed, meaning using one word when another should really be used. A key example that is often mistaken is the difference between the words between and among. We look at that now. The word between has to show a comparison of two things. However, the word among is used for more than two things. For example, between you and me, that girl is very rude. That means that you are talking with another person. So the conversation is between two people. Therefore, the word among would not be correct. Often students use the word among even when the comparison is only done with two people or two things. A comparison with two people must use the word between. Among, on the other hand, has to be used for comparison with three or more things. For example, among these vegetables, carrots are my favorite. This would suggest that there are many different types of vegetables to choose from, perhaps 10 or 20. You would not use among if you only had 2 to choose from. Therefore, you would not say among carrots and cabbage, I prefer carrots. That would be incorrect. You would need the word between. Remember, between shows a comparison with 2 things. Among, you need more than 2. We would now look at the difference between fewer and less. This, again, is a common group of words that is misconceived or confused by students because they are so close in meaning. The word fewer is a countable word. This means that whatever is qualified by fewer has to be able to be counted. So, a sentence which reads, she has less marbles than I do. This is a common sentence, but it is incorrect. Marbles are something that you can count. 1, 2, 3, however many marbles. Due to this, you need the word fewer. She has fewer marbles than I do. Perhaps saying that she has 6, but I have 10. Using the word fewer tells you that the article that you are talking about has to be able to be counted. Therefore, the word fewer is a countable word. On the other hand, you have the word less, which is non-countable. This simply says that when qualifying a word with the word less, the noun cannot be something that can be counted. For example, you can say, there is less traffic on the highway. Can you count traffic? Can you say 1 traffic, 2 traffics, 3 traffics? No, you cannot. So traffic is a non-countable word, so you need another non-countable word to qualify it. Less. Would you be able to say there is fewer traffic? No, you cannot. So be careful with mixing these 2 words. It is a very common mistake. Sometimes it does not even look incorrect. But once you are clear with the difference in meaning and you are clear with the difference in use, you can come up with your own examples and therefore make sure that you are also correct. Further to this rule, you have the words many and much. Just like fewer and less, many is a countable word. Much is a non-countable word. So you can say, I have many books in my bag, because you can count the number of books you have. But if I'm using the word much, I would have to use it with a non-countable noun. For example, there is too much sugar in my coffee. Can you count sugar? 1 sugar, 2 sugars, etc.? No, you cannot. Therefore, you need the word much. If you were talking about something you can count, use many. For example, my brother has too many cricket bats. You can count his cricket bats, so you use many. the same rule applies as we just saw to fewer and less. Let me tell you some more examples and then you can try some on your own. She has fewer sisters than her best friend. My mind is less confused than yours. That party has many attendees. This meeting has too much confusion. The girl that I met has fewer books in her bag than I do. My father is less knowledgeable about cars than my mother. There were many times that you did not attend class. There is too much rain in that city. So those are just a few examples using these words according to if they're countable or non-countable. Remember, the countable words, fewer and many, are those that can have nouns that can be counted. Less and much are non-countable, meaning the nouns that they qualify cannot be counted individually. Remember this when writing your sentences. Also, you may have a section to answer questions like this where you have to choose between fewer and less or much or many. When you are able to tell the difference clearly, then these exercises become very simple. Also, practice by formulating sentences of your own so that you can clearly see the difference with countable words and non-countable words. Avoiding all these common errors given here would ensure that your grammar is better than you may have expected it to be by avoiding such simple mistakes that you will be able to recognize after this lesson. Thank you for choosing PTI BetterGradesFast.com.